March is obviously Women's History Month, and it's one of my favorite months of the year because I get to identify women in this district who I feel have really created a beautiful legacy and are doing wonderful, wonderful work. So today I have Smalls with me, who is the middle school bilingual social worker, and I'm so grateful to have her here with me today. And so I'm going to ask her some really hard questions, and I'll make sure that she gets them all right. And so let's start with an easy one. Tell me a little bit about yourself, a little bit of your history and how you came to the middle school.
Okay, so I was actually, I don't know if you know this about me, Elsie, but I was actually born in Puerto Rico. And I came to New York at the age of 8, and I spoke no English. So I really relate to our ENL students, bilingual students. But I worked as a social worker for many years in New York City, and I did a lot of different things. I worked with domestic violence, I worked in family court, I provided support in a hospital setting. So I've done a lot of different things, and then we moved to Orange County, and I got a job at the middle school, which I love. And the rest is history. I've been in that position for 16 years.
I did not know that you were born in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Where in Puerto Rico?
In Arecibo.
My family's from Arecibo.
Really? Well, I was born in Arecibo, but I was actually raised in Vega Alta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like in the country with
Yeah.
cows and chickens.
I didn't know that, so it must have been hard when you came here and you
Yeah.
didn't speak English.
Yeah.
How did you so quickly learn to speak English? Or did you quickly learn to speak English?
It was difficult, I have to say. It took a lot of practice, which is what I tell the students in the building. You know, they get really shy, they don't want to say the words because they feel like it's going to sound weird. And I always had to practice. I practiced a lot. And then my mom made me practice because I'd go with her to her doctor's appointments.
And you did all the talking.
I absolutely did. Yes.
Something that I can resonate with.
So that's how I practice. I practice all the time, and then it was like second nature.
Right. So hard work too, right?
Yeah.
Hard work and dedication, and keep doing at it. So I because I would not have thought that you were born in Puerto Rico and you know came here at a later age where you had to kind of learn the language, and that's hard to learn a new language when you're older.
Yeah. And to acclimate to a different environment and different people. And I mean, when I was growing up, I went to school in Puerto Rico, and it was small. Like, we lived in my grandfather's house, and so then come to the city, and it was like culture shock, you know. But
tall
it was
buildings.
Yeah, and it was exciting though. It was really exciting for me.
I love that. I did not know that. Talk to me a little bit about what you do in the middle school now.
Primary role in the middle school is to provide social and emotional support and counseling to students. I also work with families to provide referrals and resources in the community. I work really closely with Frank Kick, who's the bilingual school counselor, who's amazing to work with our bilingual kids in our ENL program. And I do a lot of other things. I always say I wear a lot of hats.
You do.
I'm the desk coordinator. I mean, I do a lot of different things, but those are my primary roles.
And how long have you been in that position?
16 years.
16 years?
Yeah.
Wow, that has gone by really quickly.
And you hired me.
I did hire you.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for saying yes, and thank you for staying, and thank you for doing the work that you do, because it is so much appreciated by our staff and our students and our families. And the next question is an easy question. How do you advocate for your students?
I think that in order for you to be able to be a good advocate for kids, you have to build a relationship first. I think it's all about building relationships with kids. And by that I mean, like, students want to be heard, they want to be seen, they want to feel like they have a safe space. And so providing that is the first part of advocacy for me. And then from there, I'm the link between school, home, and whatever community resources are needed. So I'm always advocating. All the time. That's just part of my job. It actually comes really naturally for me.
It does.
Yeah, and I really love it. And kids will come and sometimes they'll say like, oh, I'm having an issue in my math class, and you know, then I'll reach out to the teacher. If it's something that's going on at home and maybe there's some issues with parents, I'll call the parents. So being able to be that link is really important, but I think it starts with having a relationship, because students need to trust you.
100%. And parents need to trust you as well, right? So it's building relationships with the students, the parents, and the teachers and the staff to know that you're a resource to them as well. So again, you do an amazing job, and I'm very appreciative of that. What is your legacy, and what legacy do you want to leave? Because we've been using that word legacy. That's sort of been our theme for a couple of years now. So what is your legacy?
It's a beautiful word, actually, and it's an important word, to leave a legacy. Definitely that kids would see me, students would remember me as, you know, Miss Smalls was kind, she was compassionate, I could go to her. She provided safety. I was able to open up with her, she heard me. You know, sometimes students will come in and they'll talk to me and they'll say, you know, I just don't feel like anybody's getting it, like they're not listening to me. And I always lean in, you know, I do a little leaning in, and then they start sharing with me. So for them to remember me that way would be really special. And that's professionally, but I think personally, that I was a woman of strong faith. And that everything that I did, whether it was in my professional life or in my personal life, helping others, really honored God. And that's really important to me.
I love that you said that, because sometimes we can't say that, but we should say that. We should say that more often, because it's what help us to be who we are, right? Our faith. Very, very important. So I appreciate you saying that.
And it's part of who makes me me.
Right.
I mean, if you only count the professional part of me and you don't think about the personal part of me, then you're not getting the whole Ada Smalls.
That is true.
So,
Ada, what advice would you give anyone who was just starting out in your position? What advice would you give that newbie that's coming into the work of social work at the middle school?
I would say be flexible. Be open to helping out in whatever capacity and whatever situation you're needed, just jump in. I think it's helpful because you're helping others, but you're also learning, and I've learned a lot by just kind of jumping in and making myself available. The other part is find your supports. I think that if you're in a building, whatever building you're in, you know, find the people that can help you, that can support you. Those people that can listen to you and help you through. I've been really fortunate, Elsie, because I've worked with really amazing people. I worked with you when you were a principal.
And you have amazing people at the middle school. Like
I have to tell you, so, you know, and I think I was thinking about it because this interview is so timely. It's Women's Month, right? But it's also Social Work Month. And I thought to myself, this is just such a great opportunity because I'm a social worker. I'm very proud of what I do. And we have really amazing social workers in this district.
We do.
Who are my go-to people when I really need some support and some resources. But I've been so lucky to work with the middle school guidance department. The school counselors and school psychologists are my go-to people. And they support me so I can support kids. So I can't do the work on my own, so I'll go to them and they're right there for me. So.
They're like your bucket fillers, right?
They
because
really
sometimes you're
are.
filling all your students and advocating for them, that's the other thing that we need to remember is that in your position in supporting students, you also need support. So I'm glad that you mentioned that, and I'm glad that you mentioned Social Worker Month.
Yeah.
So thank you to all our social workers. I have rapid fire questions.
Oh gosh, okay.
If you could relive one memory, what would it be?
Any memory that I'd want to relive would include my mom. I would do anything to be able to hear her singing in the kitchen and cooking.
Was she a good singer?
She was. She was, and she was an amazing cook. And so I always think back, like, if I could just be with Mom again.
One day.
One day, and just hear her tinkering around in the kitchen with the pots and pans and the caldero and making her rice and singing.
It's a beautiful thing.
I miss her.
What was her name?
Lydia.
Lydia. That's my mother-in-law's name.
Yeah, Lydia, but everybody calls her Lily.
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 Well, Lily, she did a great job. She raised a wonderful woman.
You.
If you had to watch one movie on repeat, what movie would it be?
That's a fun question.
Because the movies usually tell a lot about the person.
Oh, then you're not gonna.
Mine would be a horror film, so.
Oh, okay. Okay, I have two.
Okay.
I love to laugh because a lot of times my work is really hard and it's really sad, and I go home and I don't want to have to watch anything that's too deep and too serious. So The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler.
Oh, that is a great film.
I love the music.
Oh, you do?
I love the music. It's all 80s music in that movie. And the other one is The Shawshank Redemption.
That's kind of heavy.
Okay, so the reason why I thought this movie, and I really do enjoy watching this movie, is because there's like these themes of like hope and perseverance, and so every time I watch that movie, I'm thinking, okay, it's pretty deep, but see your face, you're like, it says a lot about you, Ada.
No, but it does. You know what? It does say a lot about you because you know when I've worked with you, that is always your underlying theme. Like, this is really terrible. I've watched you tell kids, like, this is really rough, but you're going to get through this, and things are going to get better. And I think that sometimes we forget that in the midst of the worst of times, there's always hope. So that is a good movie.
Yeah.
I'm glad you picked that one. And one more. Favorite go-to snack?
Anything crunchy, anything peanut butter.
Oh.
I love peanut butter. And I have to be careful because sometimes I'm having like peanut butter toast in my office and then the kid comes in and I'm like, are you allergic to peanuts? No? Okay, come on in.
Well, thank you. I'm so honored that you came and agreed to do this, although you really didn't have much of a choice. But I am so appreciative for everything that you do. You're doing great work, and I know that you'll continue to do that for a long time. So thank you. Oh, before I forget, everybody gets a pin, and it reads, "Empowered women empower women."
Yes.
So this is your pin to wear.
Thank you so
on your
much.
lanyard or wherever you want to put it.
Thank you.
But
I'm going to definitely wear this.
I think it's a really important theme that women who are empowered, in my opinion, have a responsibility to empower other women, right? To bring them up and help them be the best person that they can and help serve in this world that we live in, help serve children. So thank you so much.
And I want to thank you for hiring me 16 years ago.
That was an easy one.
For being such an inspiration to so many women in the district and everybody that you've touched, all the students, all of the families. And I know that you've really been such an impact for me in my life.
So sweet.
No, and you have been. I mean, this is not just fluff. I really do. I really do value you, and I'm gonna so miss you. But I'm excited for you because what an adventure, Elsie. What an adventure it is. And I meant to say one more thing. So in The Shawshank Redemption, there's a line that says, "It really comes down to one choice. We get busy living or we get busy dying."
Mm-hmm.
And I hope and wish for you that you get busy living. Get busy living